What's up, everybody? Fortexfiend here. Welcome back again to my channel with another video on SD Gundam G Generation Eternal, where we're going to be talking about the SP conversion feature again for pilots, but this topic is going to be a little bit more laid back and chill because it's going to be more so like a show and tell, and I'll get to that. But before I do, you guys know the drill. If you guys enjoy what you see on this channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell, like or dislike. And the question that I'm going to ask you guys is, which pilots did you use your SP conversion badges on? Now, if you are free to play or you don't spend on the game, you could earn currently potentially up to 200 of these because we were gifted 100, and then the other ones are from the 30th anniversary Mobile Suit Gundam Wing panel missions. Now, if you're like me and you do spend on the game, I did buy that one pack that did have an additional 100 conversion badges, so I was able to SP convert 3. So I'm going to be essentially doing a show and tell of which of the pilots that I chose. I'll be going over them and giving you guys a non-biased review on each of them, aside from the fact that 2 of them I went with a bias, because the most important thing at the end of the day is that you guys enjoy this game and you guys go with your favorites over the meta. Even though meta, to me, is just weird when it comes to these PvE games, but I always say go with your favorites over the meta because you're just going to have that much more of a good time with these games. We're going to go ahead and go right into the pilots or the characters. Let's go ahead and filter SP conversions, and you guys are going to see straight away with who I went with. All right, so I chose Milliardo Peacecraft, or otherwise known as Zex Marquise, Treize Khushrenada, and Nena Trinity. So we're going to start off with Nena. You guys know that Nena is actually... I actually really like this character. I really enjoyed her character in Gundam 00. Yes, I know she committed an atrocity, but I went with the mentality of she's cute, she's adorable, and I mean, you can fix her, right? So I went with her. She's waifu. I did SP convert her to level 100. As you could see, her range stat goes up to 714, which for an SR unit, that's actually pretty good. We've seen better, obviously, and there's definitely better support pilots that you can choose if you're more so worried about like the actual performance or the usability of the pilot. But I went with Nena because, like I said, I like her. Now, in terms of her actual skills, I do appreciate that they gave her some way to amplify her damage. So they gave her range boost level 3. So I do appreciate that, and it does come at a cost of SP5, so you could use this 3 times. That save energy, honestly, I can't really see myself using that. I've never come across any type of fights so far, even like with the harder content, where I've really needed to reduce the weapon's energy consumption by 15%. So that's one of the things that I feels like holds this character back if you actually want to SP convert her. But again, she's waifu to me, so I decided to go with using my coins on her. And as you can see, they did actually give her a really good skill. In terms of her abilities, she has only 1 support attack, unfortunately. She doesn't have double. Kind of wish she did, but it is what it is. You know, they couldn't give her an additional one. She does have a better increased range as a natural passive now, so she gets that 15% bump. And then if she is piloting Celestial Being, this went up to 10% respectively on those values. And then they gave her more increased range in terms of that 4th ability. So all in all, I went with Nena because she's a favorite, but to be completely unbiased, if you are looking for a support pilot that you want to use your SP conversion coins on, Nena's probably not going to be the one that you're going to go for. I would highly recommend you guys check out the previous video that I made on SP conversions. I'll be linking it right up here in this little card right here that should be appearing, but that should be the video that you should go to if you're wondering, okay, well, which one should I go for? What are some examples of ones that are actually good? But I went with Nena because my heart told me to. She's waifu. The second character that I SP converted is going to be Treize Khushrenada. Now, Treize Khushrenada is also a favorite of mine. I love Gundam Wing. I think Treize was one of the better characters, honestly, in that anime, because some of the writing in that anime was kind of awkward with the characters, and you guys know what I'm talking about. But anyways, at level 100, SP converted. As you can see, his melee shoots up just a little bit. It's going to be his hardest hitting stat in terms of offense, but he is a defender pilot, so you're primarily using him in a defensive unit. And as you can see, he gets a bump up in reaction to 740, which is actually pretty cool, and it can come in handy in certain situations where he defends, and if he potentially evades, then you end up not using that support defense. So he can retain that support defense. Now, in terms of his actual skills, Force Guard level 3 is nice. Unfortunately, he doesn't have some sort of HP restoration. Instead, they went more of like a offensive sort of a defender pilot with him, so he does have a better version of attack burst now when you do decide to SP convert him, so it's at 15%. So he's more of an offensive defender, but that's fine. You know, he is a bit of that nobleman, kind of like a knight in the show. You know, he does actually fight with a melee weapon, which is a rapier, which I think is really, really cool. But these are going to be his skills. Force guard is great. Attack burst is all right. It's definitely better than save energy, though, so I'll give it that. And then in terms of his actual abilities, he has to support defense +1. He can only support defense once, though, so unfortunately, he doesn't have that double support defense, and they didn't bother giving him that new skill where you can actually have an additional support type of an action, you know, ready and to go. And then afterwards, they gave him that increased reaction 15%, which is why you see his reaction shoot up. His tag with Oz pretty much gives him more damage to enemies and receiving less damage. And then finally, his fourth passive is that increased melee, which is why you see that he does have, you know, 500, a little bit over 500 points in the melee stat. So all in all, Treize is a favorite. I say if he is a favorite of yours and you're wondering who to use it on, I always say favorites over meta. But if I'm being completely unbiased, there are also better SR defender pilots that you can use your coins on, ones that actually have healing or have that skill where they can add an additional chance to defend. So Treize, I would say, is not recommended by those standards, but if he's a favorite, shoot, go for your favorite. Again, I went with two of my favorites, so I want to have fun. So that's why I chose Treize as my second one. And the last pilot that I SP converted, he's also a favorite, but he also just so happens to be one of the better attacker SR pilots that's recommended to use your coins on or badges, is Milliardo Peacecraft. As you can see, his melee stat jumps to a whopping 799, just shy of 1 point from that 800 stat, but still, that's really, really high for a frickin' SR pilot. And then he also gets a little bit of a boost to his reaction, putting it at 536. And his actual skills now boost range, giving him more range to his skills is nice because he is primarily a melee damage dealer. So this is very helpful, especially if you decide to put him in the free SSR development Epion, which I highly suggest that you do because he's really, really good in it. And then his second skill he got is MP up level 3. So I absolutely love this because he can increase his tension right off the bat. He can get it supercharged right off the bat. So the moment he's in combat, if you decide to do that, he's already dealing as much damage as he possibly can, which is amazing. So I really like the set of skills that he has, which is, again, despite him being my favorite, he's actually objectively one of the better attacker pilots that you could consider using your SP badges on. And finally, in terms of his abilities or his passives, he has increased own damage dealt. It's now at 15%. Alongside that, increased melee by 15%. His tag that he focuses on is White Fang, allowing him to deal more damage and reduce the damage that he receives. And then the fourth passive they gave him is going to be increased reaction, which is why you see he gets a little bit of a reaction boost on that stat. But all in all, these are the 3 SR pilots that I decided to SP convert. Again, if you're not a spender, you can only go up to 2. But I want you guys to let me know in the comment section below which pilots did you actually use your coins on, or did you save them? And if you did choose a specific pilot, let me know because I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. You guys have been letting me know that, oh, this pilot does this and it's really good in this unit and that. So I just love hearing that. I love theory crafting and I just love seeing all the different ideas that you guys have come up with in this game. Thank you guys again for watching. Stay tuned for the next video and stay blessed, everybody.